Guys, Earth Angel 44 here, coming on with my first video. I just put out a short for an introduction, and now it's time to dive in. Broadcasting to you, basically because God says so. I've held back and I've held back, and I've been researching for 6, 7, 8 years, however long it's been. I don't even know at this point. Doing the work for 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know how long it's been. But God says it's time to come out. It's time to show your face. It's time for people to hear your story, your testimony. So I'm coming out. I'm not a video camera person. I'm a very private person, basically. In fact, these days, I have plenty of friends, but I don't spend time with any friends. I don't hang around people. I have blocked my mother, my father, my ex-girlfriend as of February 12th, or as of February 14th, we officially broke up. So basically, if somebody texts me, we talk, but I don't contact people anymore. And the reason for that is the state of society, the vibration of the beings is extremely negative. Is extremely draining for me. Basically, I'm on a path towards God and healing people, and being around a bunch of people stuck in their ego doesn't interest me anymore. So the path gets lonely. When God told me to stop dealing with my mom, who was my closest person in my life for 44 years, 43 years, I guess you'd say, and a half, I did it because I understood why. Wasn't easy. I would go back and forth. Should I text? Should I let her know? In fact, one time I did. I wanted to see if she knew why I'd even blocked her. And I was trying to get some information on a hacker that had deleted some emails from my account. I wanted to make sure she had written the email, her and my sister, and in fact they did, and the hacker deleted them. So I knew I had a hacker. But basically, when God said to let her go, that's what I did. I blocked her. I went back that one time to see if she knew why, and to explain to her why as well as I could, because a lot of the information I know she rejects. I'm sure, being stuck in your ego, you don't accept God's truth. Being stuck in the matrix programs, you don't accept God's truth. I didn't myself, so I know you don't, until you fully go through the work and the healing and unprogram your mind from the beliefs, or the B, lie, and the F, which is matter. So in the word belief is B, lie, and F, which is F represents matter. So be the lie and the matter. So of course, I knew she wouldn't accept, why I was blocking her and not talking to her, but I had to at least try to explain to her so she could work on it. I don't know. Although I knew, it was like 2 months I had her blocked when I went back and tried to talk to her about the hacker and that, and she had no clue why I blocked her. And so 2 days later, after I unblocked her, I had to block her again because she sends me another text. I forget what the text was about, telling me what to do. Like always, being a mom, but causing me suffering in my mind, which is no longer acceptable. Any being that causes me suffering will be shut down immediately. There is no ands, if, or buts about it. That's why my stepfather is blocked. He has a very, intimidating, I guess you would say, approach towards resolving issues or communicating with people. Very uptight, very stressing, if you ask me, demonic frequency. So now he's blocked. And then we get to, and he's blocked because, we'll get to that later. And then you have my ex, who is blocked. It's hard to explain. The most baffling saga to my story, to my testimony thus far, the most crippling, the most the person that's given me the most growth out of my testimony. Don't really know how to explain it other than God put her in my life for a reason, and the reasons stack up. I've figured out over these last few weeks. I can finally get to somewhere and get grounded and get healthy and get in solitude, and the healing just started flooding in. But we'll just go over her and that whole story, and that'll be the end of this video. Basically, and of course I'm not going to mention her name out of respect and unconditional love for her. I still, even after what you hear, have unconditional love for her. I hope God is, like I hope God is working in her life and fixing her, which I believe is the purpose I served in the whole relationship between her and God. So basically, I met her on the Outer Banks, working. We worked together for 8.5 months. On the last day I was there, we hooked up. To tell you, actually I think it was a couple days before, but anyway, I got told I was leaving. I got told I would be leaving, and that night we went out to eat for the first time, and kissed and whatnot for the first time, whatever. But the things I'm gonna say, she doesn't even realize that I know. I think she may have her intuition may be telling her. But she's trying to fight it. She's trying to hide it. She's trying to keep it a secret. which is fine. It's not fine for her, but it's fine for me. Basically, we were put together. We became friends long before we, that last few days we had together. And the relationship continued on after I left there, off and on. She was basically in a relationship, kind of, she said. Meaning she wasn't technically dating the guy she was with when she arrived at work, but the guy she was broken up from and on and off dating for 7 years was working with us as well. But she said she was technically not dating him, but they rode together, they stayed together, they were together. It's a long, complicated story, so bear with me. But anyway, I'm just going to go over the outline of it today, and we'll dive into it later more. Anyway, I could see her heart. We hooked up, like I said. And the only way I can describe it is just like it had to be a previous life soulmate. We'd spent previous lives together. I don't know in what capacity. It doesn't really matter what capacity, but the familiarity was there. There was an attraction I haven't felt before. It wasn't lust. It was true, genuine love because of the ease and the nature of the relationship. It was just, I knew we had done this before. Let's just put it that way. But we we saw each other. I left, I guess it was late October or so, or November, I can't remember. Yeah, it was November. Left the beach in November and went back to my family's lake house. We continued talking, but it was, even though everything was so familiar and so good, she was keeping secrets. She was keeping stuff hidden in the dark, which I would later figure out. My intuition was telling me all along. But we'll just go over what my intuition's been telling me this whole time, and the reason she got blocked 3 times now. So we talked for, I would say, a month, at which time she called me one night freaking out, saying her ex was about to beat her, which she told me he has done in the past, which now I know the guy, so yeah, I think he did, but now I can't say that for sure. That could have been a lie too. So I reserve judgment, because now that I know that she's a liar, it's hard to say if that's even true. But anyway, she called me freaking out. I was down in Georgia on a different job. She called me freaking out, saying he was coming to the room. He was about to beat her. They've been drinking. So it's likely pretty true. Your temper and your emotions get out of hand when you drink. Spirits come in. But, so I was, basically upset or mad. Told her I was getting in the car to drive to her, and I would take care of it myself. At which time she freaks out, no, you can't do that. And, it's like, you're putting me here in a very fucked up situation. You're calling asking for help, and you won't let me help. I mean, I did threaten to beat the guy up, which I shouldn't have done. It really wasn't my issue. You know, it really was their problem. I should have just hung up the phone and let it be and blocked her like I should have. But anyway, that ran into a big fight, and we got off the phone. Of course, I couldn't stop thinking about it and worrying about her through the night. So the next day, I let her know that we were done, not to contact me anymore, and I proceeded to block her. And so time went by. I had already purchased tickets to Red Hot Chili Peppers in California for both of us. So time went by, and eventually she messaged me, or actually I messaged her, telling her I was sorry and I hope she was okay. But what she did, you know, handcuffing me, put me in that position, wasn't acceptable, and well, you know, basically I'm not going to put up with it. And she said she was sorry, and basically sweet talked me into asking me if I still want to go to California and to Vegas with her. And of course I wanted to go, so I forgave her. We went. We had a great time. Other than a little blow up out in Inglewood in the hotel. We were both drunk, and she was basically just ignoring me, doing her normal. Now that I know what she was doing, her normal bullshit. You know, she would come on strong and then taper off and not, you know, basically not care at all. Let's just put it that way. But it's her little game to reel me in and get control of the situation. Now I know. But it was for a much more sinister, dark reason. Which we'll get into in later videos. I'm not going to get into that today because basically it's dark and it's ugly, and it's going to come out either way, whether we go over it, whenever we go over it. But so basically I blew up at her, you know, told her she deserved the man she was with and wanted to beat her, which I didn't mean. I was trying to get through to her that she was treating me like shit. It was just kind of the wrong way to go about it. But anyway, so we left. Went to Vegas. I went back to work in Georgia. Left my car there in Vegas because I couldn't get back on time if I didn't. And so I left my car with her, a bunch of my things, and went back to work. And so the same crap continued. Her not being responsive, her being cold, actually she started giving me an attitude at this point. And constantly she played the victim, which is her biggest thing she does. So she played the victim over and over and over, but yet still stayed tied to the hip to her ex or her boyfriend or whatever you want to call it. I don't know or care anymore, but So I blocked her again. And I did it the same way I did it the first time. This time I did it on Valentine's Day. I waited all day, all night. It was about 10 o'clock at night when I finally texted her. Just saying, Happy Valentine's Day. I don't know what else I said, but basically Happy Valentine's Day. Oh yeah, maybe I said, why haven't you, do you not want to send me a Valentine's Day message? And she responded with her little smart ass attitude. Saying she hadn't had time and she'd been at work all day. I said, oh yeah, it takes a long time to text somebody Happy Valentine's Day. And so that was it for a little bit, for about an hour or two, for an hour or so. And I basically contemplated on it and said, I'm done with this shit. Typed in one word into my text message to her, goodbye. But she knows what that means. That means I'm not going to be talking to you ever again, because I did it the first time the same way. And blocked her again. And of course she called from a different number immediately. I didn't answer, so that was it. So that's the scope of the general history of what went down. The details are way, way worse. In fact, they're horrendous once you hear about this. But today is not the day. We're at 22 minutes. I'm not in solitude to be telling this story in the park with people all around me. But I did want to come on. God wanted me to come on. I've been putting it off. And I have a lot more to share. As far as God's truths, as far as magnetism, as far as torus fields, torus mechanics, as far as gematria, symbolism, the matrix, raising your vibration, your frequency to ascension levels, dropping your ego, which is probably to date the biggest accomplishment of my life. I was getting rid of my ego because it was driving me crazy. And the levels I reached after coming into sexual union with that girl, I had dropped my ego about a month before, and we came into union, and the vibration I was at, it was nothing but love pulsing through my veins. Just pure love, just pure unconditional love for every being on the planet. Even though, once you hear my testimony, it is the exact opposite of unconditional love as far as the way I've been treated my entire life, other than by God. God has forgiven me of all my sins. That's the only way I'll be able to drop my ego, is to forgive myself. And sorry, I'm watching kids play soccer. That's why I keep looking off. Yeah, he forgave me for obvious reason. He forgives everybody directly after you do them. That's how good of a God he is, or spirit is. I don't know if it's a he. But basically, we got a lot of information to cover. God has nicknamed me the Blueprint and told me that we will be changing the world. What that means, what's going to happen, I don't have a clue. I surrendered my soul to Him. I don't even remember when now. I have to think about that part. But I surrendered my soul. I laid down everything to Him. Basically just from being exhausted from this matrix and from this thing we call society, man. But we got a lot to go over. We got to go over, the most important thing on your journey for all those looking to ascend would be starting to eat healthy. It's the only way to raise your vibration. Breath work, breathing, grounding, daily meditations, daily affirmations, casting down demons, spirits, black magic, spell work. It gets deep. But for today, we're just going to do this short introduction and I'm done. Just want to say hello. Up until now, my safety has been in question. I've had a hacker on me since last year, probably late in the year. I don't remember when it came on, but since last year, I've had a hacker on me. Like I said, deleted my emails. I don't know why I deleted those emails. I never read them because at the time my mom was blocked, but deleted my emails. I've had money stolen by him. They paid for fake concert tickets to get to the gate, and they say, "Where in the hell did you get these things?" Been harassed, cyberbullied over and over and over. I'm basically offline. I have an Instagram account, which once I get up and running here with this channel and with whatever God has in store, there will be other accounts on other net platforms, but the basic quest is healing for all of you people. It's the most rewarding thing I've done. The relationship I have with God. There is no better feeling asking God for signs and Him giving them to you. Which, I'll tell you those later, but that'll be for your journey, really. Like, you'll have to ask for your own signs and to be blown away by those. That's the only way that works. Me telling you about my signs ultimately is not going to do you any good. So yeah, this channel will be about healing. It'll be about raising your vibration, your frequency, and the things you can do to get there, to get closer to God. Man-made religion it started my journey when I was a kid, I'll say that. And it has nothing to do with my journey anymore. If I do go to a church ever again, it's not to connect with God. I connect to God every single day, all day long. I talk to Him, I cry to Him, I pray to Him, I praise Him, I thank Him. I wake up, I write my affirmations down, I burn and release them to the heavens every single day. Well, that's it, guys. I thank you for your time. I want you to know that you are loved by me, but more by God. He's waiting on you. The moment you turn to Him is the moment your life changes. Just know that. He's always watching because He lives right inside of you. Thank you.